Now this is exciting. Crossing the New River Gorge Bridge, we're at about 900 feet above the New River. And tomorrow, at this time, we're gonna be fishing on the New River. New River is the second oldest river in the world, and it's right here in our state. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm embarrassed that I have not fished this. And tomorrow, you're gonna see us on the river. Stick around with Fly Rod Chronicles. You're gonna love this show.
Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man, and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
You know, it was awesome coming down US 19, crossing the New River Gorge Bridge, and looking down, knowing that I was going to fish the New River. You know, I grew up in West Virginia, and I got to be honest with you, I'm embarrassed that I have not been on the New River, and I'm glad I finally got to get down here.
Hey, welcome to Wild and Wonderful West Virginia,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
brother. And then we got to meet Dave Arnold. And I'll tell you what, Dave is a good old West Virginia boy that just makes you feel at home.
You know, one of the things about the river that I think is important is, you know, a lot of people come here and they see the fish as the trophy, and they see the river as the field of play. For us as guides, for us that are out here every day, we look at it completely opposite. For us, the trophy is the field of play. The trophy is the river.
Despite its name, the New River is considered by some geologists to be one of the oldest rivers in the world. The New River flows in a unique south to north course, instead of west to east flow of most other major rivers. This peculiar direction of the New River suggests that it preceded the uplift of the old Appalachian Mountains themselves.
It was here before the mountains. It represents an ancient drainage that may be 250 to 300 million years old. To give you the dinosaurs were wiped out 65 million years ago. To give you a reference, everybody knows about dinosaurs. These rocks were old and in the ground before the dinosaurs really got going.
These great sandstone boulders, combined with the steep elevation drops along the river, provide some of the best whitewater rafting opportunities in the East. While whitewater is the king thing to do at Adventures on the Gorge, I was here for the big smallmouth bass that call the New River home.
One of the things that's really unique about Adventures on the Gorge is that you can truly take your family on an adventure trip. You know, it's not like the beach. We're not sitting there, reading a book. This is all about adventure. Hair on fire, having a good time. You got the teenagers, they want to go do the zip lines, they want to do gravity, rock and roll. You have other people in the family that may want to enjoy the pool, they may want to do something simpler like horseback riding. But what we do at heart of everything we do is adventure, even our fishing, which is adventure fishing. We're one of the few places in the United States that has those combinations at one location at one time.
This trip was about me finally getting to come down to the New River and fish for smallmouth bass. But it was also about family, friends.
I've got to fish with Secretary Burdett, and actually he's gotten to be so good, we've invited him down here to the New River Gorge to fish with us. And he's bringing his sons. And if you know Curtis Fleming, family means everything.
So I'm gonna follow you. Yep, follow us.
One thing on Adventures on the Gorge, you can camp, you can come down here, you can stay in presidential suites. They've got every level. At Fly Rod Chronicles, we have to do a little practical joking. So This is where we're staying. We're staying at a really cool spot down here. And we're gonna show them where we're staying, and then we're gonna pretend that they're staying in a tent because they're thinking that they're coming to a cabin resort. We've got two openings. I don't know if you want this one or the one on the end. Either one will work.
When you stopped,
Yeah.
I said, he's going to tell us that there's one.
I knew right off the bat what was going on. I knew what was coming down.
After taking them to their actual cabin for the weekend, it was time to settle in and get prepared to float the mighty New River the next day. Stick around, you don't want to miss a second of this amazing float trip that is pushing off after the commercial break. Hey, there's a lot more going on in Fly Rod Chronicles behind the scene. If you want to check it out, join us on Facebook or Twitter.
This segment is brought to you by the Southern West Virginia and the New River Gorge Convention and Visitors Bureaus.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. This week we are floating the famous New River in southern West Virginia with adventures on the Gorge Guide Service.
You know, this trip was about me finally getting to come down to the New River and fish for smallmouth bass. But it was also about family, friends.
We've been associated with Curtis and Fly Rod Chronicles now for a couple of years. I hope it's been nearly as good for Curtis and the Fly Rod Chronicles as it's been for West Virginia. It's given us an opportunity to show off some spectacular places across the state.
You know, Secretary Burdett, he got to experience being on the river with his two sons. You know, Cam's one of those all-American red, white, and blue guys. Loves to fly fish, and you could tell he was ready for this trip. Alex has never fly fished. Matter of fact, I don't think Alex has ever fished.
I gotta handle the fish, and that's where I'm out.
You know, Alex, I've known him for a couple years. Character is the first thing that comes to mind. Our goal was to get him fly casting.
See how big that loop is?
Yeah.
Now that's called wristing. So if I say, hey man, you're wristing,
Put it more in the arm.
it's all in the arm and let the fly rod do its trick. This is not a muscle thing. I've seen little old ladies cast further than I can.
And as we're packing the boats up with our Yetis and everything, I looked around and he is casting as, I'm not gonna say a professional, but he's got good loops going.
Hey, Scott, you don't mind teaching me to cast like that, do you? We could start making good TV then.
You know, coming down here to the New River, it is about being with friends, being with family. Ed, we've done a few shows with Ed, and he's somebody that you can cut up with and you can laugh, but he came out of retirement.
How long has it been since you've been on a guiding trip out here?
Just a few years, couple years.
27 years.
And it was funny to hear all the stories. Back when I was a guide, I did this. Back when I was a guide, I was this.
Well, I started off getting interested in whitewater from canoeing on my own, some of the rivers in West Virginia, but really didn't really know what whitewater was about until I started working as a professional river guide.
We heard it in our sleep, but you know what? It's pretty cool. One of these days, I'm gonna probably say, back when I was a fishing guy with Fly Rod Chronicles. You know, the New River, it is a river.
You think it's one of those muscle memory things it's just gonna come back to you?
We're hoping.
The New River offers Class 3s, Class 4s, Class 5s.
I just want you to know, we're sponsored by Aleve.
Okay.
Because tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're gonna need some Aleve.
You got to be a good sponsor.
I think so.
We're gonna have fun.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but jumping in the boat with Ed, who hasn't rowed down the New River for 20 years, that's up there with some of my biggest mistakes.
Bump.
Any way to slow us down?
I'm trying, man, I'm trying.
Okay.
You feel me working, right?
I do. You know, at Fly Rod Chronicles, I'm the host, and I get to choose a lot of times which boat I'm in. Again, I chose Ed that morning, and if you notice, by afternoon, I chose somebody else. You guys ready?
We are ready.
All right. Afternoon, I had to move on. Sean was my man.
Stick around. When we come back, I team up with Adventures on the Gorge head fishing guide, Sean Wishart, and I finally start getting into the smallmouth.
Oh, he's a jumper. He's on fire. Now that's a guide right there when he says 20 feet in front of you, he rows. I'm not sure I had to do anything on that deal.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. We are floating the New River in beautiful West Virginia.
So J-Rod, we fired Ed. Ed had to go. Now we get a little peace and quiet, get to hang out with Sean.
I love this place, I love this area. I evolved from a whitewater rafting guide. And that was where my training came in. It's such an incredible smallmouth fishery that once I get on the water, I couldn't think about just doing the whitewater anymore. I had to take a fishing rod with me. So from that point on, my career evolved from guiding whitewater trips into guiding fishing trips. And I've stuck with that for the last 15, 17 years, solely as a fishing guide.
Sean knows this river like the back of his hand, and I was hooked up with a nice smallmouth bass in no time.
Sean! Woo-hoo-hoo! Sean's a man!
Yeah, fish on.
Yeah!
You gotta love this smallmouth.
Hey, Ed! I got a new guide! And you know what's cool? And I'm not saying Ed's a bad guide. I'm not saying that. But you're here on the river every day.
Every day.
You know what's going on. You said pick up the streamer rod.
2 casts.
Yeah,
Had
2
a fish.
casts. Oh, wow. So there we go. Smallmouth down here on the New River.
Great little bronze back for this time of year.
And they're nice and dark, aren't they? Nice. Well, let's put him back. Back in the New River. There we go. You know, Sean lives on this river, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Ed lived on here in like 1938 or back in the 20s, you know, it's different.
In the beginning of this float trip, I was doing a lot of falling down in the boat, which made me fall behind in the fish count. Our special guest, West Virginia Secretary of Commerce, Keith Burdett, was actually ahead of me, and so were his 2 sons, Cam and Alex.
Top of the food chain for a reason.
But now Sean is on the oars, and he is constantly putting me in great position to catch fish. It's time for me to go to work.
Very good. I got to look.
Bump.
I can keep only so much slack on. Oh, you're a tree. Wow. Oh, man. Wow. I'm telling
Nice
you what.
fish.
Acrobat. He's been hooked before. What a great fish.
Look at all the stripes coming out on them.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Man, they are gorgeous. Right there, baby. Look at that.
New River bronze.
Oh my gosh, look at this popper. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Look at that.
It's time for this week's Trout Unlimited Release of the Week.
Man. Wow. There he goes. Smallmouth, baby, on the New River. Sean, thank you. That's crazy. Down here in wild, wonderful West Virginia. Adventures on the Gorge. You guys got to come down here. Hang out with Sean. I promise you, it is a trip of a lifetime. Take a little break right after this with more Fly Rod Chronicles.
part of fly fishing is figuring out what's going on. Right? Are the fish feeding on bait? Are they feeding on bugs? Cold front moved in. It put the fish down.
With this cold front coming in, I know it's July, but it's cold for the fish.
It is, yeah, definitely colder for the fish.
Yeah.
Seems like today everything's had to be moving really slow. That last fish you caught on the streamer, you slowed it down a lot. So you got down a little bit deeper and it was barely moving.
Right.
That's when that fish came out and tagged it.
That was not a solid hit. That was just...
No, they're just, with this front just coming through, they're just pecking at them today. Things started out fairly slow for us.
And there was moments where we thought, are we gonna figure this out? And then all at once, we just seen an all-out feeding frenzy.
Look here.
Get them, get them. Oh, they're everywhere right here.
This is crazy. This is nuts right here. It is a feeding frenzy.
We found out that the fish were feeding on shad. Sean instantly picked up on that.
We tied on a little streamer.
When you're talking about matching a hatch, he matched the fish, and it was a baby shad.
Let's change streamers, go a little deeper.
You got it. Once we put that imitation of a baby shad on, it was game on.
Oh yeah, looks good.
Looks real good.
Like it?
Yeah.
Oh, there was a... Right there. He hit it, and then came back and finished the job. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Look what he just spit up.
What he spit? What is that? A minnow?
That's a little shad, yeah.
Little shad.
Matched the hatch.
We matched the hatch. Right there. Put him out. He just puked up a shad. That's our shad right there. It's getting beat up a little bit, isn't it?
It is, a little bit of water, it'll come back down.
Okay, let's do it again. I'm gonna need some.
Yep.
Am I short?
That's it. You're 3 foot short. I'm on top of him now.
Oh, good call, good call. Oh, he's a jumper. He's on fire. Now that's a guide right there when he says, 20 feet in front of you, heroes. I mean, I'm not sure I had to do anything on that deal.
You had to make the cast.
Oh, that was awesome.
He made cast after cast, and it was fish after fish. So you just never know. You pay attention, you watch the river, you watch what the fish are doing, and things can just turn like a light switch from a fairly slow day to 50 casts in a row and 50 fish in a row.
When your fly's beat up and the hardware's bad, you know you've had a good day, right?
Yes, you have. Put that one in your hat for a souvenir.
There you go, brother. So we'll retire the rod here, huh?
Yeah, we'll put it away for the evening. It's gonna come back out first thing in the morning.
I mean, a little smoke coming off of it, you know?
It was a good afternoon.
It was.
After finishing the first day strong, it was time to beach the rafts and get ready for day 2. This part of the float trip was going to take us through some serious whitewater.
We're one of the few places that has fishing in the gorge, class 5 whitewater. Catch a fish, block it up, tie her down, hold your rod and hang on.
Yeah, in the fast water on a class 4. Give it to me. We're going for a ride, fish. Woo-hoo-hoo. There we go, baby. Give it to me. Woo! Nice. I wish Ed was here to see this. Woo! I mean, when you could take one of these boats down a class 4 like a Cadillac and catch fish. I mean, I felt like I was in class 5s when we were on flat water with Ed yesterday.
I've been in this business for about 19 years, guiding fly fishing trips, guiding fishing trips. Curtis is one of the best and most down-to-earth television personalities that I've ever had to work with.
As we were getting to the end of the gorge, I just wanted to put the rod up. I just wanted to enjoy and soak in everything that the New River Gorge has to offer.
Floating down New River, apple pie in a jug, working up the nerve to swing out on a vine.
There's more to do on this river than just fish.
In the moonlight, leave your troubles on the bank. Everybody jump on in, the water's fine. That's our West Virginia wildlife. Riding in every holler on every hill. It's that backwoods country nightlife. I've never gone far away and I never will.
You know, Secretary Burdett, he got to experience being on the river with his two sons. His youngest son is getting ready to leave home, turns 21, and you know, that's something that he will cherish as a father forever.
A couple hours, but I'm still moving away. I'm not gonna get to see him as much. Getting to just leave the house, go out just to us, it means a lot to me.
Spending some time together, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Fishing is primarily our show, but we also like to show our travels, the people we meet, and adventures that we go on. And speaking of adventures on the gorge, they completely took care of us. And it's something that will go down in the memory bank and go down in one of those most awesome trips that we've ever had at Fly Rod Chronicles. Right now I'm watching the sun go down, and this has just been incredible. I'm Curtis Fleming. Come back to Fly Rod Chronicles next week.
I've gotta get there one way or another.